there was a town-wide caucus that was held in the middle of May, and that town-wide caucus was barely announced. There was a small postage-size legal ad that was run in the Republican American, also in May, preceding the caucus. The caucus was held in a room that allows only up to 29 people. Southbury Republican Town Committee has 30 members approximately. There are approximately 4,500 registered Republican voters in Southbury. Does that make sense? Of course it doesn't make sense. Not at all. As a candidate, as a Republican candidate, and what I consider a very legitimate, bona fide, qualified Republican candidate, I received no email, no phone call of such a thing. The first selectman, Bill Davis, my friend, understand that well. He's a friend of mine. Claims not to have heard about such a thing. The Republican caucus in his town. For what purpose, he claims to not know. For tonight, I'll take him at his word. But that further gives proof and evidence to certain things that I'm not even going to bother talking about tonight due to time constraints. So, because of the actions at that caucus, there was a filing with the Secretary of the State changing the endorsement rules from town caucus to Republican town committee vote. So conceivably from 4,700, 4,500 people approximately to 20 people, regular members of the Republican town committee. That stands. That stands. A little footnote to that is that the Secretary of the State requires 60-day notification of such RTC rules filed with the Secretary of State before they can become effective. So such a filing, which I've also included in this packet for you all, is legal. The Secretary of State doesn't care, have no recommendations about how a town endorses their candidates. They take the paperwork and they file it. They're not making any kind of legal judgment or anything else. So it stands. There is no undoing that. And anybody who has any closeness to the rules and the regs, members of the Southbury Republican Town Committee, especially the Executive Committee, should know these things. I was the former town committee chairman up until the beginning of March. Everybody knew that. Everybody knew that these rules had to be filed with the Secretary of State. Prior to the required endorsement filing by the Secretary of the State between the period July 29th, check that again, July 19th to July 26th. That is the period which the Secretary of State requires the endorsement from all of the towns. Thus, any town committee filing a change with the Secretary of the State on the endorsement method has to do so before May 26th. Again, 60 days. So what does it all mean? It stands. That's it. There's no undoing it. What does it all mean to the town? Well, rightly so. There are a lot of people that are concerned, upset, annoyed, and even greater than that. Because they feel like their privilege, ladies and gentlemen, has been stripped from them, has been removed. And I feel the same way. I'm a candidate, a qualified candidate, who on February 28th, when I put in my letter of interest with the Screening and Nominating Committee within the Southbury Republican Committee to become first selectman candidate, I wanted to simply provide Southbury residents, Southbury voters, of course, with an alternative. A lot of people didn't like that. Never was I seeking an endorsement from 20 people in the Southbury Republican Town Committee. I was seeking an endorsement from the townwide Republican Southbury caucus. Period. I was an alternative. And isn't that what we want? We want alternatives. So by the action taken by the Southbury Town Committee, and the filing with the Secretary of State, I myself have been deprived an opportunity to caucus, to debate, to discussion, all those good things we should be doing. But more than that, forget about me, more than that. The residents around here from Southbury, you have been deprived. Forget about me. Could have been others. If it wasn't Jeff Krizan, it could have been somebody else in town that was willing to give up a 35-year career in international chemical administration to do this. Why? Because I can do it. I want to do it. I'm qualified to do it. So that was all taken away from me, and it was more that it was taken away from the Southbury voters. And it was a big blow to democracy, in my opinion, small d, in Southbury. Now, what about my campaign? The campaign goes on. Really nothing has changed. Absolutely nothing. I still have the core principles. Still want to bring leadership to the town hall. And the skills